This is a countdown video. It contains my own personal opinion on the subject matter. If you don't like my opinion, well, go make your own video for all I care. Number 5. Flying Witch. People often ask me why I love animation much more than live action, and for a while I never had an answer for them. But after watching Flying Witch, I now know why. There's just something about animation that can create an atmosphere that can suck me in, much more than what live action can do. And Flying Witch's atmosphere is one of the best that I've ever seen. Move over, Kiki, cause there's a new Japanese animated witch in town. Simple. That's the word that perfectly describes this show. Everything about it is simple. From the characters, to the setting, to the stories, to even the magical aspects of it, everything is extremely simple. However, through well-written, believable characters, great animation, soothing music, and realistic voice acting, it manages to become the greatest slice of life show that I've ever seen. The dialogue and the way that the characters interact with each other is written so extremely well. Shinatsu is perhaps one of the most believable young kids that I've ever seen in anime. Her actions are always kid-like and believable. I mentioned Kiki before, because this anime did feel very Ghibli-like. Like how when some characters are introduced to magical elements, they are surprised at first, and then totally cool with it a second later.
やっぱり竹だと癖が強いですね。乗ってれば慣れるかな。
The show also rarely shows its magical side, but when it does, it's amazing to look at. This show's very laid back like that. There are several times while watching this anime that I found myself dozing off. Not because any of it was boring, but just by watching Akane snoozing after a late night drinking, or any of the two cats resting in the sun. It's the perfect anime to watch on a warm Saturday afternoon. All of that and more is why Flying Witch was an exceptional anime of the spring season. Number 4. Kiss Him Not Me. Okay, so just to get this out of the way, but the premise of this anime is very awkward. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but if taken the wrong way, it can be a mean one. But outside of this, in my opinion, Kiss Him Not Me is a fun reverse harem that adds a few twists to the formula, and these twists really made me appreciate this anime. First of all, our main heroine is a yaoi-obsessed otaku who would rather see the guys make out with each other than with her. She's a ton of fun, and her over-exaggerated expressions are very enjoyable and kind of relatable with the anime that she watches. Another cool thing that the anime does is that it has a lesbian as one of the suitors for the harem. She's a masculine girl who loves Serinuma as much as the other boys do, and the anime takes her love as seriously as the boys.
Was it too good to be true? A delightful meeting by random chance. Perhaps we could call it destiny. I'd like to get to know you better. If you're interested, I'd love to have you come home with me so we can talk about anime.
She's inviting me over to talk about Mirage Saga?
I should also point out that the dub for this show also does a good job in making the premise a little less awkward. In the dub, the voice actress for Serinuma uses the same voice for when she's thin and when she's large. Gon is the low, goofy voice, which actually makes the most sense in my opinion. It was a very smart choice that the dub made that I really appreciated. I'd recommend the dub if you're thinking of watching the show for the first time. In the end, yes, I could name some problems with the anime, like its changing up of the manga chapters sometimes and what order they go in, and its issue with Serinuma's wait at time, though the dub fixes that. But at the end of the day, it's a very funny anime with an enjoyable cast of characters. It's a reverse harem with a gay and otaku twist, and I loved it. Number 3. Erased. Easily the most anticipated show of the winter season. Erased was a unique show that may have disappointed some on some levels, but overall, it was spectacular and engaging anime. The story follows our hero Satoru, who has the ability to go back through time, randomly, to stop accidents from happening. He soon finds himself in the past on a mission to stop the death of his classmate Kaio and the future death of his mother. The nostalgia that this show manages to express is very astounding, from the mentioning of the Famicom, the Japanese version of the NES, to the way that they use borders on the screen during the past segments, something that I didn't notice till 5 episodes in. I like how we have Satoru's 30-year-old mind in his 10-year-old body, making some confrontations and conversations with other characters interesting to watch.
しっかりしろ29歳
We're on board with everything that Satoru is doing, and we want to see Kaio be saved from her abusive mother and future death. The atmosphere and animation is very beautiful, with some great moments in every episode. The writing is usually hit or miss, succeeding more in its quiet moments and failing in its more melodramatic moments. And while the show doesn't work as a mystery anime, cause it's stupidly obvious who the killer is, it does work as a thriller, giving us great moments of tension throughout. There's also a lot of minor details and big plot points that are changed and or removed from the manga, which either benefits or hurts the anime. This includes the last third of the anime being extremely rushed. Lastly, I have to mention how the show has an amazing mother character. Seriously, this woman rocks!
私邪魔だべか
そんなことない。
声に出てた
While some may have came to dislike it, and I really can't blame those who do, Erased is a great show in my eyes, and one that I recommend to everyone. Number 2. Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, or however the fuck you pronounce that. I do love me a good period piece. While the show starts in the 1960s, it quickly goes back to the early 20th century. The time of the show spans before and after World War II, and we get to see the change that Japan went through due to Western influence and the effect it had on Rakugo. And hey! Get back here, this is culture, damn it! I had only heard about Rakugo theater a little bit in the past, but after watching the show, I started to look more into it. It truly is a fascinating form of theater. Getting to the actual show itself, I love anime shows where the writing makes the characters extremely believable, which gives the fact that our 3 leads are people stuck in the wrong time all the more interesting to watch. Behind these identifiable characters are great period music and great voice acting. The Rakugo performances in the show itself are just as fun to watch. I also appreciate how the anime gave us a realistic look at being gay in not only Japan, but in early 19th century Japan. It's all hard and tragic. It's not fantastical like Yuri on Ice, though that itself is beautiful. With season 2 on its way featuring the new generation of characters, only seen in the first and last episode, I'm excited to see where the show will go next. Number 1. Sound Euphonium Season 2. As many people know, I fucking love the first season of Sound Euphonium. So much so that I rewatched it beforehand to get myself ready, something that I don't normally do unless a show that I really like gets a dub. Ever since the second season was announced, I had been in high expectations, and I am happy to say that the second season is just as good as the first. There were also new characters that were introduced to, and their stories intertwine with the other characters very nicely. The story and characters are as engaging as it was in the first season. I love how this show can have a 6.5 musical sequence with the band performing, and I never once looked at the clock to see how much time was left. I was just engulfed in their performance. I also appreciate how they don't feel the need to have someone narrate the performance, which is one thing that I disliked at times in Yurei and April, despite those equally beautiful performances. The emotions and energy are presented strictly in the visuals. It's the classic case of show don't tell, and it was perfect. Another example of this is how the show sets up its atmosphere. With its beautiful animation, it will set up a small scene that involves one or more characters, and you can tell their emotions with little to no dialogue. It's conveyed all through the visuals and its astounding music. In the end, all I have to say is what I said last time. Take your otaku pandering shows and your love for shit like K-On! I may like stupid shit like New Game and stuff like that, but this is the shit that makes me love anime as a medium, and that's never gonna change. God, I love this show!